Hey guys, welcome back once again. I have 12 movie reviews for you guys today. Like I said in the previous video, some good, some not so good, but I'm going to start off with something not so good. I watched Seagull from Echo Bridge from 2021, 85 minutes. This is a UK film. So, little synopsis here for you. I'll read the synopsis and I'll tell you my thoughts. So this is: a family is shaken when a person from their past reappears and begins disrupting their life. Rose, who has been living alone on a beach for 8 years, returns to her hometown to take revenge on the family. So that's Rose right there. After increasing threats and scare tactics, she kidnaps their daughter Lily, which is not true, but we'll get there. With the help of a local fisherman, only one member of the family knows why they are being targeted by Rose and her cohorts, but they must all work together to save their beloved Lily. So this movie is definitely a mind F, if you will. So the family that the girl is living with, the father, she refers to him as granddad or something like that. So I think Rose is the girl's mother, and she did something terrible to the grandfather's wife. She pushed her down the stairs and made her become handicapped. I don't remember exactly why she did that, but as far as the storyline itself, I didn't really care for this movie. It's more of a drama than anything else. I mean, you see her here holding a meat cleaver. I didn't even see it in the whole movie, so this movie is very misleading. I mean, it was shot, the cinematography on here was good. I enjoyed that, especially the beach scenes that they're on there. But if you see this out in the wild, I don't suggest you pick it up, especially since you think it's a horror film of some sort, but it's not. It's just a drama. It says here she has a help with local fishermen. Yeah, it's her, one of her friends, I guess, from the past, helping her take care of her. I don't know. It's a really strange movie. I don't recommend it. But the disc art is the same as the cover art. So there is no Blu-ray for this from what I've seen, just the DVD. So pass on that. I think I gave it like a 2 out of 5, but it is not making my shelf. So up next is an A24 film, which some people do pass it by for whatever reason. This is from 2013, 89 minutes, and that is Life After Beth, starring Aubrey Plaza, Molly Shannon, John C. Reilly, and Dane DeHaan. That's how I say his last name. It says, "Till Undead Do Us Part." So this movie is more of a comedy than a horror, but it's also about a zombie apocalypse. So, Zach, played by Dane, he's devastated because his girlfriend Beth, played by Aubrey Plaza, unexpectedly dies. Apparently, she was bitten by a snake of some sort. And then he finds out that her parents are hiding her in the house. So he thinks that she's effing with him because he thought she didn't want to be with him. So she was like, I don't know what's going on. She didn't know that she really died. But she came back to life because you find out later that she crawled out from her grave to get back home. And you find out later that she's not the only one that's happened to. It's happening to a lot of people. The dead are coming back alive and going back to their house, their old house. So this movie is fun. I really enjoyed it. It's not for everybody though. But the ending's kind of really cool too. But if you guys find this in the wild, especially for cheap, I recommend it. It's your typical, I guess, A24 film. It's, you know, it's funny, it's effed up, but I really like this movie a lot. You also have, so Molly Shannon and John C. Reilly are in here. They play Aubrey Plaza's parents in this movie. Dane's character's dad is played by Paul Reiser, and his wife is Cheryl Hines. So it's funny. I recommend it. If I move my stack here. Speaking of fun, this was a fun watch too. I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I did. And that is The Hunt with Hilary Swank and Betty Gilpin, amongst other people as well. You got a lot of cameos in here, especially Ike Barinholtz, Emma Roberts, Ethan Suplee, and a bunch of other people. Basically, this is a satire about what was going on during the time this movie was made. A group of elites gather for the very first time at a remote manor house to hunt ordinary Americans for sport. But the elites' master plan is about to be derailed because one of the hunted, Crystal, played by Betty Gilpin, knows the hunter's game better than they do. She turns the tables on the killers, picking them off one by one as she makes her way toward the mysterious woman at the center of it all. That's played by Hilary Swank. The end fight scene between the two of them is pretty epic, if I say so myself. So, you'll laugh quite a bit in this movie too, because it's just all a bunch of ridiculousness, especially Ike Barinholtz's character. But yeah, you get the digital code, and then both discs look exactly the same. The Blu-ray and the DVD, they're both black. And then you get the a universal rewards code, and then you get the actual digital code. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, I recommend it. I showed this off in the previous video because I just picked it up, but I watched this on Tubi on New Year's Eve, and that was Bloody New Year. This is the Vinegar Syndrome release. This is from 1986, 94 minutes, directed by Norman J. Warren. After finding themselves stranded on a remote island, a group of young friends discover that the only structure is an old hotel which seems inexplicably stuck in 1959, and stranger still has up Christmas and New Year's decorations despite it being in the middle of summer. As the youngsters take shelter for the evening, increasingly weird events begin to occur as each of the hotel's unexpected guests meets a gruesome fate. So basically, when you're in this hotel, it's always New Year's Eve every single day. It's a very strange film, but I really enjoyed it. So if you guys are interested in that, it's available. I got it from deep discount, but you can still order it through Vinegar Syndrome. You can find it on Amazon or whatever, wherever you buy movies online. Next up is a film that I didn't particularly care for all that much. It's a Scream Factory release from 2015, and that is the movie called Bite. Now, it looks pretty gross, can't you tell? Even the reverse art is kind of weird. It's just white with a little bug on it. So, give you a little synopsis. I mean, visually it's great, but I just didn't care for the storyline. Gut-wrenching and spine-chillingly disturbing, you can say that. While on her bachelorette party getaway, bride-to-be Casey gets a seemingly harmless bite from an unknown insect. After returning home with cold feet, she tries to call off her wedding, but before she's able to, she starts exhibiting insect-like traits. Brought to the breaking point by both her ongoing physical transformation and her wedding anxiety, She succumbs to her horrifying new instincts as her metamorphosis becomes complete. The bugged bride and all who cross her path discover that everything can change with a single bite. So yeah, her metamorphosis in here is pretty gross, to be honest with you. The storyline is okay. The acting is not great, to be honest with you. Visually, it's pretty good. I thought the visuals were pretty cool, but I won't be keeping this in the collection. But if you guys want to check out Bite, if you got 89 minutes to waste, go ahead and check it out. The movie does drag a little bit toward the beginning. It takes like 30-40 minutes to get going, and then when it gets going, it gets pretty good. But I'm not keeping it in the collection. This one also I'm not keeping in the collection. That is from 2018 Lionsgate release, and that is Down a Dark Hall with Uma Thurman and Anna Sophia Robb. So Kit, a difficult young girl, is sent to the mysterious Blackwood boarding school when her heated temper becomes too much for her mother to handle. Once she arrives at Blackwood, Kit encounters eccentric headmistress Madame de Ray, played by Uma Thurman, and meets the school's only other students, 4 young women also headed down a troubled path. While exploring the labyrinthian corridors of the school, Kith and her classmates discover that Blackwood Manor hides an age-old secret rooted in the paranormal. Visually, it looks pretty cool. This is based on a book by Lois Duncan, who also wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer. Directed by Rodrigo Cortez. Also starring Isabel Furman, Victoria Morales, Noah Silver, and Taylor Russell, and Rosie Day. Visually, it's cool. You know, I thought it looked pretty good. I just couldn't get into it. And I guess I don't know if I just wasn't feeling it that particular night, but I just didn't care for it all that much. But if you guys are interested in that, check it out. And the discard is the same as the cover. The other day I watched two I guess, Cold War films that could have happened during the Cold War, but luckily it did not. So the first one here is from 1983. This is put out by Kino Lorber, and that is The Day After. So against the real-life backdrop of the U.S. deployment of WMDs in Europe during the escalating Cold War, this dramatically involving and agonizingly graphic film about a nuclear holocaust detonated a direct hit in the heartland of America, becoming the most watched TV movie of all time. Starring Jason Robards, Jo Beth Williams, Steve Guttenberg, and John Lithgow, this controversial, potent drama remains one of the most talked about programs in history. When Cold War tensions reached the ultimate boiling point, the inhabitants of a small town in Kansas learn, along with the rest of America, that they have less than 30 minutes before 300 Soviet warheads begin to appear overhead. Can anyone survive this ultimate nightmare, or the nuclear winter that is sure to follow? Top-notch direction by Nicholas Meyer, from the teleplay by Edward Hume. So this movie is pretty crazy. So it just shows you what could have happened between us and Russia during the time of the Cold War. The acting here is pretty good. I enjoyed this film quite a bit. I think that, yeah, there's certain scenes in here where people get like radiation poisoning, and one kid goes blind because he stares at the bomb going off. So his retina's burn out, so he's got like a blindfold on the whole time. So you guys enjoy that, I definitely picked this up. This is a 2-disc set because you have 2 different versions of the movie. You get the television cut, which is 122 minutes, and then the theatrical cut, which is 127 minutes. And you get reversible artwork as well. So you get this artwork, and then you get that artwork. So whichever one you guys prefer. I think I just like that one, but that one's cool too. So you can't have one without the other. So the next film that I watched after that one was pretty much the same movie, but this is from the UK, and that is a film called Threads. This takes place in September of September in '84 is when this came out. First aired on the BBC and shocked tens of millions of UK viewers. 4 months later, it was broadcast in America and became the most watched basic cable program in history. After more than 3 decades, it remains one of the most acclaimed and shattering made-for-television movies of all time. Rhys Dinsdale, David Brearley, and Karen Meager star in this graphic and haunting docudrama about the effects of a nuclear attack on the working-class city of Sheffield, England, as the fabric of society unravels. Directed by Mick Jackson, from a screenplay by novelist-playwright Barry Hines, and nominated for 7 BAFTA awards, the most terrifying and honest portrayal of nuclear war ever filmed, has now been fully restored in a 2K scan for the first time ever. So again, just like the last one, it's like, you know, shows you what could happen during a time of war, and sometimes it's very hard to watch. 117 minutes from 1984. And this one's only 1 disc, and there's no inside artwork on it. So there was one that had this like a particular slipcover, but I don't have that. Speaking of Severin, here's another movie I watched. So I'd never seen this movie before, but I've always been intrigued by it. So when this came out, I grabbed it immediately. This is a kid's movie from 1985. This was the first Severin Kids title that they put out. I don't know if they're really doing that anymore. I think they did 2, and that was it. But this is a Canadian film from 1985, and that is The Peanut Butter Solution. I flipped the artwork. This is the reversible art. The art that they redid for this release looks like that. But I like the original artwork a little bit more. So this is a very strange film, kind of haunting at times if you think about it. So I don't think this even really tells you what happens in the movie. No, it doesn't. So basically, the lead kid in here, played by Matthew McKay, his father is a struggling artist, and his mom is away in Australia to take care of her parents. I guess one of them got sick. And so it's just the one kid with his sister and their father. They go to school. One day, the kid and his best friend go check out this one, I guess one house that got burned down by a fire. I don't know when exactly that happened, but when the kid went inside, he saw something he shouldn't have, and the next morning he woke up and he had no hair. So he had to go back to visit the ghosts at the house, and they tell him, well, he didn't know. He had a dream about it. He didn't actually go back. He had a dream about the ghosts telling him the only way to get your hair back is to follow this recipe. And he follows the recipe, but he puts too much peanut butter in it. So he ends up not just getting his hair back, but it just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. And his friend has to cut it in class, and then that pisses off the teacher, and then they have to go to the principal's office, and then they don't want him there. And then I guess the one art teacher gets fired for some reason. He ends up finding out about the boy and his hair, so he kidnaps No, he doesn't kidnap. What does he do? Yes, he kidnaps the boy, and he makes money off the hair, and so far and so forth. And it's just a very strange story in here, but I had fun with it. It was cool. But if you guys want to check this out, I definitely recommend it. I think it's still available on Severin's website, and I believe it's online too. So yeah, and I love the visuals in here, especially downtown Quebec. That's where it was filmed. You get to see like storefronts and, you know, the downtown Quebec. So, and also you get not only just the Blu-ray in here, but you also, I don't know if they still put this in there on the new releases, but you get a Severin Kids sticker inside. And then you get this recipe for the peanut butter solution, which is right there. So 1 really ripe banana, 5 dead flies, 1 rotten egg, 3 licorice leaves, a fistful of kitty litter, 3 Connie crisps, 3 Crosby crackers, 9 spoons of soil, a glass of Pepper's Fizz, and a spoonful of peanut butter, but don't use too much or watch out. And put all of it on your head. I gotta remember that line. Put all of it on your head. But peanut butter solution. Speaking of childhood films, here's another one that I watched, but I've seen this many times as growing up as a kid. From 1988, and that is Mac and Me. So I know a lot of people didn't like this film when it came out because it was basically just making money off from the E.T. craze from a couple years earlier. I understand that, but it is quite different. But alright, so from the far reaches of space, a family of extraterrestrials find themselves accidentally transported to Earth, escaping from a government facility. The youngest of this alien brood is separated from the others. Now alone, afraid, and millions of miles from home, this mysterious alien creature, named Mac for short, must rely on the kindness and friendship of a very special boy named Eric in order to survive this strange new world. With the help of Eric's family and friends, they'll undertake the journey of a lifetime to reunite Mac with his family. The kid that plays Mac, his name is Jade Calgary. He's actually in the wheelchair in real life. I don't think he's still acting anymore, but I forget what he's doing now, but he's still with us. Also features Christine Ebersole and Jonathan Ward, as well as the best use of choreographed fast food restaurant dance sequences the universe has ever seen. Yes, there is a lot of product placement in this film, especially with Coca-Cola and McDonald's. Yeah, basically just Coca-Cola and McDonald's. And then there's a scene that they go in the grocery store that was pretty cool too. I always like to see when people go to grocery stores and malls too. Mac's mom works at a Sears in the mall, so that was pretty cool to see too. So if you guys enjoy cheesy 80s E.T. ripoffs, I recommend this one. It's from 1988, 99 minutes, PG. It's put up by Shout. Yeah, Shout Factory. Not a Shout Select title, just a regular Shout Factory release. You do get reversible artwork in here as well. Got the original artwork on here as well with the kid with Mac, and then the new artwork. I kept the sticker from the actual cellophane, and I just put it on the case because this is the 30th anniversary edition of the film. All right, 2 more and I'll be done. So the other night when I saw that Cool Duder reviewed this release, and he specifically talked about this particular movie, I went ahead and threw it on and gave it a watch. So I'm talking about the Bloodorama triple feature from Vinegar Syndrome. I watched Carnival of Blood from 1970 at 87 minutes. An omnious semi-cinema I can never say these French things right. Horror movie that was shot at Coney Island in New York City. Carnival of Blood features an early role for Burt Young from Rocky. Pop art gore that would make H.G. Wells proud, or H.G. Lewis, I'm sorry, Herschel Gordon Lewis, and a gloriously seedy atmosphere. Yeah, it was pretty cool visually to see Coney Island in 1970 on camera. The scenes where there was a lot of blood was pretty cool too. The acting was subpar. So I can say that. But the scenes when they go into like the fun house, that was pretty cool. I really enjoy seeing films, seeing movies shot on carnivals and fun houses and whatnot. So I haven't watched the other two yet, but I'll probably get to them eventually. But definitely check out Carnival of Blood if you get the chance. Now the skin itself, I know they had a hard time getting like a very clean cut of the film because it was damaged, and you can tell that the film was damaged by watching the movie, but it wasn't terrible. So definitely check that out. And then lastly, I have a TV film that I want to share with you guys from Kino Lorber. That is Buried Alive. This is from 1990. Starring Tim Matheson, Jennifer Jason Leigh, William Atherton, Hoyt Axton. Great cast. This was directed by Frank Darabont. This is his first feature film, if I'm not mistaken. This is also, the teleplay was written by Mark Patrick Carducci, who did Pumpkinhead. And based on a story by David A. Davies, who wrote Gas Pump Girls, which is a really good sex comedy from the late 70s. So basically this movie is about Tim Matheson's character, Clint Goodman. He enjoys the simple life he's created in the small town where he grew up. However, his wife yearns for a more glamorous existence. He begins an affair with a local doctor, played by William Atherton. You guys know him from Ghostbusters. He offers her a sinister but seemingly perfect way out, but the illicit couple's insatiable greed produces some grave consequences that lead to a heart-pounding conclusion. Basically, she tries to kill her husband, and she thinks he's dead, but he's really not. They're going to, I guess, he goes to the, what the hell is it called? They want to get him in the ground, so they were going to embalm him, but they decided it was going to be too expensive, so they just throw him in a casket, and they put him underground. They have the funeral, whatever. They weren't going to do a wake because it was going to cost too much money or whatever, and she didn't check to see if he was actually dead, and he wasn't. He woke up buried alive, so he gets his way out. Hoyt Axton plays the town sheriff, and he notices that the guy's not in his grave. It's like someone dug him up and pulled him out, but then he finds out that he actually got out. So the sheriff and Tim Matheson's character are actually friends. So he was very weird about his wife during the whole time. So anyway, he gets out, and then he finds out that not only is she's messing around with him, she also had their child aborted, but he didn't even know that she was pregnant. So that hit him pretty hard. So he decides to take matters in his own hands, and boy, does he get his revenge. I won't go into what happens, but it's fun. I definitely recommend Buried Alive. So, all right, guys, that's everything for this review video. I'm a little over 30 minutes now, so sorry for rambling on, but let me know in the comments if you've seen any of these and what you thought of them, if they made your shelf. If you're interested in any of them at all, let me know. So, hope you guys enjoyed them. So, take care. Catch you guys next time.